Oilersnation After Dark begins now.
A call on the ice that will be discussed for eternity in oil country. I apologize for our delay getting ready here. I'm still trying to understand what I just saw happen. No goal called on the ice while the play is live. No referee with a solid view of said play. A quick huddle together, ruled a goal. I don't see any video evidence that would indicate a goal. Sorry to say this, but I feel like the Edmonton Oilers might have just got fucked here in the NHL playoffs. Game 4, it was entertaining. I'm sick to my stomach right now because that happened real fast, and now we're live all of a sudden. But the Oilers fall 4-3 in overtime on a Ryan Poehling overtime winner. Series is now 3-1. The Oilers staring down the barrel of one loss, and their season is over. It's gonna be a roller coaster tonight, everybody. Buckle up, throw down your courtesy like now, and say thank you to Bet365 for sponsoring this show. Take advantage of their 3-goal early payout feature when you bet on your favorite team before puck drop. If they go up by 3 goals at any point, you will get paid. Please play responsibly. 19 plus, only at Bet365. Menzies, I'd ask you for a vibe check, but it's not fucking good right now as the Oilers feel like we just got robbed a little bit. Once again, we'll discuss this ad nauseum. If you inject me with truth serum, do I think that puck was 100% over the line? Yes, I probably do. But that's not the point I'm going to argue tonight, is that you could not prove it in the moment. You could not prove it after the fact. And I don't understand how a referee, nobody calls it a goal on the ice. They huddle up together. Hit is then made. Men's, how you feeling right now?
Well, obviously disappointed. The Oilers, I think, did some of the aspects that we talked about in pre-gaming about what they needed to do in order to be successful. I thought they did the best in the series tonight. And a tough break, obviously, what happens in overtime. It's just it's the chain of custody. It's a strange sequence of events. The Oilers do, though. They have control of that puck in the D zone, and they can't get it out. And Frederick's got a chance to chip it out. I thought he was better tonight than Saturday or Friday, at least, when I carved him. But nevertheless, a squeaker through off of Nurse's skate. And, I think the puck's in the net. It's just surprising. Like, there was no...
I'm not debating that because the referee
skates in behind, and by the time the referee arrives, the puck has been moved from that area, but there was no call then. It was only after the huddle, which then had so much importance about what we know, because the view of it, you can't tell. Jarry's skate obscures the goal line. So it's a tough pill to swallow for sure, because the Oilers did some good things tonight. They struggled in some areas again, and ultimately it was a coin flip result, and they haven't gotten many of those results here. The Ducks have had tremendous puck luck, and credit to them. I'm not just saying they've been lucky. I'm saying, they've been able to manufacture some of their puck luck too with their tips and screens and everything else, and they got some puck luck here on a play that double deflects, and squeaks presumably, although we don't see it, into the net.
Once again, we are homers. This is Oilersnation.com. We understand it. Fans being fans of their team. I get why everything goes. I understand right when they immediately call it a goal on the ice and we get one look at that replay. I'm like, I understand the process of events. We've seen this with the NFL plenty of times before.
Absolutely.
In calls like this. I get it. And once again, the Oilers blew 2 separate leads in this hockey game. The fact that you even put it on the Zebras at a point in this hockey game, it's not good, but I'm going to watch this as many times as I've watched Ryan Kessler pull Cam Talbot's pad. There's something about the Ducks and Oilers in that blue paint, Menzies. I hate that I just brought up another terrible memory.
In Anaheim. Especially, and in overtime. Another one of these. Like the puck just had enough momentum anyways to score, and it was just chaos in front. And you didn't know because the referee was in that corner, so you don't know how to feel. You know it's somewhere around there. Again, there's no view to show in proximity to the line. I think the puck's in the net, but there was so much awaiting the original call that when it was announced, you're thinking, well, how could it ever be? How could it ever be reversed? Conversely, if it was called no goal, how could they show that it was in? It would just be vibes. You know what I mean? So it's a really, it's a disgusting way to lose. I mean, overall, just in the context with a play like that, deciding it, and then some of the good things you do, but ultimately, you know, the weight of their mistakes ending up costing them, you know, in the first 3 periods. So there's more factors to it than that, but this definitely, I mean, it takes the wind out of your sails. Early in overtime, officially the time of the goal is 2.5 minutes into overtime? Yeah, so almost precisely 2.5.
Shout out producer Brett, because he got the watch along stream up just in time to watch Heartbreak.
There you go. Big timing there. It's all about timing, and the Oilers haven't had it.
They didn't have it, and they failed to hold 2 leads. The Ducks' power play continued to sun the Edmonton Oilers throughout this hockey game, and that's the difference in this series right now. And hey, I see some people in the chat being like, you're Oilers fans, you need to be more pissed. Oh, I'm pissed about the process of all of this. It's just that I do think that puck did cross the line, and there's so many things that led up to this beforehand. I said this game had overtime written all over it, even before pre-gaming went live tonight. And then bad things happened. But let me tell you about some good things, and that's Boston Pizza. For 32 dark years, Canadian hockey teams have failed to win the Stanley Cup. But this year, Cup year, it might be 3-1. There's still a chance, damn it. As long as I've got oxygen in my lungs, hope will never die. And at Boston Pizza, take advantage of their awesome playoff menu right now. They want me to say that it's built for a 16-win run. It is, and so are the Edmonton Oilers, because hope will never die. Cup year.
Nick Dowd did the math the other day.
Yeah,
you can lose 12 times. You can lose 12 times in the playoffs. That would be the max 28 games.
That was one of the most through gritted teeth Cup years that I've heard in a long time.
That's tough right now. Let's get through these super chats, and then we'll bring in our guest, former Edmonton Oilers goaltender, who I'm sure has some thoughts on this play.
Yeah.
But the super chats brought to you are all in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation, a cause, win, lose, or draw. We always raise money for a very, very good foundation, and that's important to remember on nights like this. Alex drops $2, says, of course this happens in Game 5. Again. This was Game 4. Maybe Alex has been drinking tonight. Who knows? Either way, I get it. Thank you for the money. Rusty, $5. Oilers in 7. Have a great night, y'all. Short, sweet, to the point.
Sure.
Oilers fans are pissed right now. Southpaw, 269. Beer league reffing on that goal from the corner. I believe Tristan does ref minor league hockey, probably even beer league. He said he wouldn't have made that call. He was fired up and angry. Resident referee.
Yes.
We've got a goalie in Doobie. We've got a house league referee in battle. We're covered everywhere here on After Dark. Max Antias. Sick name. $6.99. People are acting like you can't do the math of the puck size and skate size and determine whether it was over or not. Calculus exists, you know. I wouldn't know. I went to Nate TV. Brother, I took -2 math.
Arts for a reason. My school fucked up and gave me AP math, and I just barely made it by.
Maxiantis does have a point, though, as we keep saying here. I'm still angry. I'm still pissed. But I do think, and it pains me to say this, that puck was over the line.
Yeah, I think
Louis said it repeatedly over and over.
Like I'm
I've
fairly
seen a puck
certain
before.
It's over the line. I'm just fairly certain that the ref didn't see it over the line, and that is
because nobody did. When I look at the review, nobody could see it go over the line.
And then okay, it's a conference. Who saw it? It's just going off of kind of a gut feeling. So, and I mean, in a way, yeah, I guess they screwed it in the right way, but, it
That
doesn't
doesn't
feel
make me
good.
feel any better.
No, absolutely not, because you can't tell for sure. There's no...
Probably the first time I haven't been wanting to be screwed in the right way.
Yeah. I don't know, because
That's
I'm
sad
just of
in so many
such
different
mixed
levels.
feelings, because it's like the puck, I think, was in. So it's weird to get mad at the process, but the process does screw you.
I'm just
here
furious at how
in
that was
terms
called
of-
a goal on the ice.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't prove that. And from the angle, we'll get the highlight up in just a couple minutes here, there is no way, because when I look at every slowed down, minuscule, tiny 0.1 second replay, you can't prove that it was over. So this felt like a huddle up. In Anaheim, I worry about crowd. I don't even fucking know right now, folks. I'm frustrated and I'm at my wit's end. Let's keep going to the super chats, then we'll get Doobie. There's a lot of super chats. Austin, no stripes on top of the play. All out of eye shot. You cannot prove across the line. Can't prove shit. That's a sellout crack job. Hope will never die. QF Pro, I do not need to try to be positive. This core came back from down 0-3 to make Game 7 against the Panthers. They can do 3 in a row against the Ducks. Maxentius is in again. Avs so happy they got a free first-round pass versus LA. That series ended in a sweep earlier today. Don't care about that one right now. Then Austin, positivity, 69.99.
Yeah.
We need that right now. He says, refs rule a good goal. Somehow, when he's in the corner, can't see a thing. So it puts us in a spot where, well, legally you can't overturn it as it's ruled a good goal on the ice when you can't definitively prove it. Ducks got away with one. Hope will never die. Often, I have trouble deciphering and understanding what Austin has to say. That one I got clear as day. He's pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's pissed, and there's a lot of people frustrated. My majority of the frustration at the end of the day, after you kind of simmer past the immediate, call and everything like that, it's just the areas in this game and in this series that have ultimately caused the Oilers. They're 6 for 12 in the penalty kill against Anaheim. You know what I mean? Even there, and again, you're not going to play a flawless game for turnovers and everything, but they have possession of the puck heading out of their zone before that whole sequence happens. And so, although it's not sexy and you've already iced it once, you gotta be sure. You know what I mean? I thought the Oilers made a much more concerted effort to have this never say die mentality and flip pucks out of their zone and everything else.
They did.
There was a lot more of that type of buy-in. They didn't have as many scoring chances. That was way lower. It was really a coin flip game throughout. But when you have 2 leads, and again, a 2-goal lead out of the first that is erased in the second period, a second period that, comes back to haunt you.
Some very silly penalties from the Edmonton Oilers, and you can't be doing that when this
self-inflicted wounds.
Man advantage just continues to make you pay. There's a lot. There was good in this game. Unfortunately, the bad seems to outweigh the good right now. Mackay and Dry dropped in $6.99. Bet365 sponsors the refs. Ducks money line for the Zebras most deafs. They were cooking. They were the chefs. Hold around like Hugh Hefs. Cup Yefs. TB $6.99. Frederick with the turnover, though. Man, I tried to be positive about him, but damn is he useless. Should have kept Doc in. I will remind you, Colton Doc, they said, was out of the game due to an illness. Even though I think Curtis Lazar might have been the choice, but haven't been none too pleased with Freddie's game.
Yeah.
Turd Ferguson is in.
Oh, Turd.
Need that. $20 dropped. I will give money for Ben. Oilers should not even been in that spot. Cup year. Okay, we'll put a timeout on the super chats for right now because I'm sure they're gonna keep coming. They're all in support of the Stelter Foundation. So if you got something to say, you can either do it there or the voicemail line that you see.
Yeah.
Is that in the chat there? Do we got it pinned? Yeah. Yes, we do. So let it rip, folks. Just like I hope our next guest, Jesus, will let it rip. Let's get into our headlines. We'll do the sounds afterwards, but it's brought to you by Swiss Stone Air, open for 25 years and now open 7 days a week. It's the pride of the North Side. They're great for your events at home or office. Check them out at their location or online. Figure it out. Shout out Swiss Donaire. I could go for a couple of those right now as we give me Champagne Poppy first for our headlines. Give it to me, Bert.
Yep.
The saddest, we've had yet. All right,
I got lost. I was already thinking of things, and
you're just getting you're getting the boys as raw as you could possibly get them right now, and you're also getting Devan Dubnyk. That was also the most forced doob I've ever given. Doobie, it's a pleasure to have you join us here. I know it is already tomorrow out in the Central Time Zone. Of course, we got overtime hockey in this one. It was short-lived, however, as a call that will live in infamy in Oil Country and here at Oilers Nation. Dubes, let's get right to it. What was your thoughts on the overtime call? And where are you at right now? Are you as pissed as the chat? Or, I don't know, what's going through your head right now?
Yeah, I mean, you guys covered most of it. I think here's what I would like to know. I mean, first of all, you're right on. It's frustrating to see the referees come together and decide that's a goal on the ice because there's no explanation. You can't the four of them came together and said what? Who out of the four of them said yes? The puck went in the net. There's no possible way. So I would like to know where that came from. Now the only thing is I don't know how much that actually comes into play in this situation. I know that normally, like if it's a high stick or anything like that, then it's like, well, yeah, if it's called a goal on the ice and you've got to prove that it was a high stick, and if it's in between, then it's obviously going to lean towards that. In this situation with a puck crossing the goal line, I don't think that, and I might be wrong, but I don't think that it goes to that we're not sure. Like they have to make sure that a puck crosses the goal line, which again, unfortunately, I think the frustrating part is that you can't see it, but they have to make a call. And I think if you zoom in on there and you watch, where the puck is and the way it travels, that common sense would tell you it's across the goal line. So just a wild play, and obviously very, very frustrating that's how the game ends, right? Because there's still some frustrating things about that game, the penalty kill, obviously. But there was good stuff too, and the Oilers were up a goal in the third period, but they can't seem to hang on to that. But frustrating because that was not a must win, but huge game, and just a really weird way to have it end.
Did you ever have a moment like that in a game that kind of ended in a strange way where, emotions are so revved up anyway because it's obviously, a critical game nearing elimination in the playoffs, but then also has this wrinkle to it where, guys are going to be leaving the ice thinking, man, what the hell happened on this play?
It wasn't the first one that comes to my head. It wasn't an overtime, but it was weird, and it was in playoffs. We were in Dallas, and I'm sure you guys remember Antoine Roussel, but the puck went around behind the net, and he kicked it. So it was behind the net, and so he's trying to play it to himself. So a big swinging kick, and it ricochets off his skate. It goes up in the air and over the net, and it lands on my shoulder. And I pin the puck on my shoulder in the crossbar. And as I was pinning the puck, the net lifts up off and I fall backwards. And so they go through this whole crazy review. Somehow at the end of it, so the puck is pinned between my shoulder and the crossbar the whole time. So somehow at the end of this, they decide that the puck crossed the goal line with the net still on the mooring somehow. So all this happens and it gets called a goal. And then they completely forget to even look at the fact that he kicked the puck, blatantly punted the puck that went off me and in. So I was losing my mind even after they made the call, trying to tell them he kicked it, because I knew none of them even considered that as being part of the whole ordeal. So anyway, we lost 2-0, and that sucked.
Yeah. that's well, and I mean it's these moments where, like, coin flip scenarios, and that was obviously then a deciding factor in that type of game. This is overtime here, where you're frustrated with the sequence of events, but ultimately, in this case, like the puck was likely in the net, but it's no solace. The whole thing, it's just an odd way to end a game because you don't get that, like, definite result in a sense of, like, okay, the puck's clearly, shot, scores, you know what I mean? Win or lose. It just has that way of being, there's chaos. Oh, what are the refs going to decide? Everything else. It's just an odd way to end it, right?
And it's tough because, I mean, creating a rule book and all these process of events, I keep going back to the NFL. Remember, it's what's a catch, and nobody even knows anymore these days. But I get that the process of events that they have to go through, and that why once it's called a goal on the ice, there's no way you can disprove that. The word conclusive always comes out, but I see a quote here from Matthias Ekholm. He said, quote, "I don't know how they see it as a conclusive goal. I just don't." And I feel like this is going to be a conversation that leads sports talk media all day long tomorrow, or at least Canadian sports talk media. And we'll go back to it throughout this one. We'll get some sounds in the room. But I guess, Doobie, let's talk about the guy that was involved very much on that play, Tristan Jarry. I'll be real with you, scared shitless on pre-gaming when we heard that Tristan Jarry was going to start for the Edmonton Oilers. But, man, he was awesome for the Oil, in my opinion. He stops 34 of 38. It's an .895 save percentage, but he did a lot for this Oilers squad. He finishes negative .51 goals saved below expected. I'm sure as a former goalie, you fucking love seeing stats like that. But Jarry, man, this was a swing. This was a huge decision from Chris Knobloch. Our chat on pre-gaming during the watch-along going, this might decide the Chris Knobloch era, and the fact that he had the confidence to believe in Jarry. And, man, he was rewarded for that, because I get it's a sub-900 save percentage. Jarry was awesome in this game, and I'm curious, Dubes, from your perspective, what did you think about it? Obviously, it's a gross way to finish a hockey game, and he's a part of that, but Jarry, I thought, was incredible.
He was awesome. He really was all over the place. It was right at the start. They had that weird one that just missed the net, and then he came up with a huge glove save right after that, and he looked solid. He was comfortable moving around. Lot of big saves. Like I think the Oilers did a better job in front of him for the most part, clearing out, like just urgency when there were some rebounds sitting around, and they kind of buckled down and just got him out of there. Which, I don't know if that was quite the same level of urgency. And that was a little bit what we talked about before the game, is like sometimes it just changes the way you guys play in front of you a little bit. And, in this scenario, I wouldn't say that they buckled down and gave up no scoring chances. I think he had a lot of scoring chances. But again, when I watch somebody, it's not just pucks that go in. And for you guys too, you can see, it's not just the pucks that go in, it's how does he look? Is he comfortable? Does he look comfortable in there? What are the saves he's making look like? And I thought he checked all the boxes tonight. I thought he played fantastic. And, that goal saved above expected is just going to drop, because that overtime goal is probably not a high one on that list. If you look at the goals, it's going to be probably the Cutter Gauthier one wouldn't be high on the list. In that goals saved above category, and then that overtime one's going to kill him. So if you throw those into a game, that's why that stat ends up the way it does. But I thought he was great.
Yeah, I thought he worked. He had the one where there was the rush early in the game that I think stung the crossbar, that he kind of jumped to beat off. Yeah, and that's the only time I can really remember kind of the jumpy Jarry, you know what I mean? Where he's just a little unsettled and maybe
he wasn't over sliding like we've seen.
Yeah, all that
time.
Extra movement, you know what I mean? I know amongst goaltenders, the the less is more, right? About all of your, you want to do things in one motion, you know what I mean? And just play a quiet game when you can. But I did think that the Oilers did block a lot more shots, fronted a lot more shots, and were much better in front of their net. And so that's going to give Jarry a better chance. I thought Jarry was the better goalie, like Ingram was the better goalie in the last game too. But the Ducks just found a way 5-on-5 to just have a few more of those shifts. You know what I mean? A few more of those shifts that extended time and won battles and were able to create some speed. Just what do you think about just the game flow overall versus what we've seen in the previous contests?
Yeah, and I think they gave up more shots in this game, but I didn't mind it. Again, you got your goalies playing well back there. You're going to give up plays. I do feel just like a little bit of, I was trying to watch to see what I thought I was seeing, but I feel like sometimes it's a little bit over back check, a little bit. They kind of get running around, and I think they just get a little out of position. Like the puck goes low and everybody just gets kind of a little bit too low, and it opens everything up top, or they're coming back on a back check, and you just talk about over back checking where it's like they're just going a little bit too far, and then Anaheim makes a play, and there's ice that's open, and it's not all the time. And I think that I think it was the third period, or maybe it was overtime. Guys coming down the wall, and Podkolzin was back checking. Wallman goes over to the wall, and they kind of both go over there, and it's like they chipped it to Cutter Gauthier in the middle, and he had a good, like, wide open shot off of kind of what looked like nothing through the neutral zone. And that's what I'd like them to get rid of a little bit, is that, like, you're trying so hard to be aggressive that now you're closing a guy off on the wall who's not dangerous with two guys, and it comes to the middle, like you're trying to not let him shoot so much that you're actually giving up a decent shot. And that's just, maybe not the best example, but sometimes, like, it can't be full court press all the time. Sometimes I feel like they're going so hard to constantly break everything up immediately that it's one pass, two pass, and then all of a sudden the zone's wide open. Whereas you watch the other end, Anaheim's just kind of a little more structure, and there's just not that room in the house in the middle of the ice.
We talked a lot on pre-gaming, and I played some interview clips from yesterday at practice about the Oilers, talking about their different approach, the need to adjust and kind of simplify at least their offensive attack. And in this hockey game, 38 seconds into the game, you saw the decision to take the puck down low, go for a little wind around the net. It was Jason Dickinson, low to high. Wallman pounds it on net. And then Cheeks continued to be clapping and Doobie. He's the best player for the Edmonton Oilers all series long. But it started that way for the Oil, and I felt like, once again, I'm comparing this to a game 1, 2, and 3 effort, but it did feel like a more concerted effort to play a simpler game from the Oilers. I saw more cycles around the net. I saw simple concepts of give and goes. I joked it was a Tim Duncan highlight reel out there. Fundamentals were on 100. And then defensively, you kind of mentioned it earlier, how there were several points me and Menzies looked at each other and we went, wow, would you look at that? The Oilers just glassing out, just flipped it out to the neutral zone just to see another day, where I feel like, as opposed to earlier games in this series, that's where you went, they were trying another home run, breakout, stretch pass up the ice, or a own zone turnover type thing. And I get we all feel very negative right now. We're down 3-1 and we just got fucked. But I think there was a change, at least in my opinion, in some of their approach tonight, and to play a simpler, more muck and grind style, live to see another day type of game.
Yeah, I would have loved to Trent Frederick to live to see another day there on that overtime goal and at the blue line. I think you guys mentioned it before. That was a tough part of that clip that you don't see, and unfortunately, when it ends up in the net, it's something that you do go back and see. But you get the puck on you get possession of the puck. Do anything other than just lose it to the other team. But obviously, it's unfortunate that it ends up in the net. But yeah, it was a different feel. It definitely didn't feel, chaotic at times, like defensively, like some of the other games have. Even the third period last game, it was crazy up and down, which is fun to watch, but sloppy as hell. And you didn't have that feeling. So it was definitely a better feeling effort from the Oilers. And obviously, 3 in regulation is a step forward compared to the previous games. I think that has something to do with it too. But yeah, it's crazy to think they're down 3-1 right now. It's been a very weird playoff series, but hopefully they can get going. I mean, you got to assume Connor's hurting right now. Watching, the ice time is way down for obvious reasons. He seems to be pushing through something out there, which he's tough as anybody and is going to. But it certainly seems like something's hurting him a little bit, and his shifts are pretty short as well.
Well, I think he was even the third shift in overtime, and then that just goes to show you, imagine, he's starting overtime.
19:32 ice time.
And in a crucial game. But, your point's well made about, I thought the Oilers just held on to pucks when they didn't have to force them tonight, and that's what the Dickinson play, in the first 30 seconds was like. You don't have to put that puck in the middle. You can just hang on to it, and there were more of those moments, or more of a willingness to. There was that 30-second puck pinned against the end wall where the refs didn't blow it dead. You know what I mean? Held, and then Nugent Hopkins finally emerged from it, and it leads to a shot on goal. Some of those things that lend itself to more playoff hockey. But ultimately, if there's been one crucial area that's cost the Oilers here, it's the penalty kill. And, and some of the penalties you obviously don't like either. But is there just anything overall, Doobie, where you just look at it? It seems like there's a lot of time and space to release these shots. Just what are you seeing with the PK? Obviously, they surrender 2 tonight.
Yeah, just a little loose. Like it just that I think I'm looking at the first one. It's like good shot. You want to save from the goalie, probably there. I mean, these happen. Like, listen, if that's a shot you're going to give up on the PK. Like if that guy's going to take that shot. Now you obviously want to attempt to get a stick or a little bit of pressure on him. You're not just going to let somebody stand there and shoot. But if you're going to break down a PK, like, hey, we're right here. That's you're going to give this shot all day. And so, Jarry is a little bit deep here, but he makes a good shot. And so the problem is the PK hasn't had any success at all for this round. So that just kind of packs another one on. And then when you go to the second one, you see it just gets a little loose, and there's just space. Anaheim makes a good play here, obviously. But again, you can just see. I think is that McDavid. I always feel so stupid saying that McDavid does anything wrong, but just a little over aggressive coming to the half wall here, right here. That's fine, right? But you want to come back through the middle, and he gets a little bit over aggressive here and loses, and it's just that's just a pass down low, pass through to right where in the PK. That's where you want to protect first, obviously. And it's just little things like that. And I feel like sometimes when Edmonton's penalty kill is struggling, it's a little bit of that, this is just one play, but that kind of overplaying stuff when it's not necessary. And I saw that a lot last year. It's not exactly the same thing. We talked about it a lot last year in playoffs of just kind of over pursuing and just when you're not, it's not a bobble, it's not time to go, and they're kind of losing a man and creating that open ice. A little bit similar to that, where you're in structure and you just a little bit too aggressive and you lose your guy, and then you give them the middle of the ice, or you give them that time and space, and they've just had a little bit too much of it.
Well, so just sorry to jump in, but these PKs tonight especially, we're starting with Dickinson and Kapanen as the forward pairs, and I thought they were okay, but they're starting too often, I think, losing the draw. And I know that's a coin flip thing. It is what it is, but if you look at, I'm not sure Savoy's been on the ice for a PK goal against yet. I don't think they've found a way to get him enough time on the kills because it's starting that way. I think it went Dickinson, Kapanen, then Savoy, Szymanski there, or who was Savoy paired with?
McDavid
but then anyway,
was coming in.
Yeah, and then you had McDavid and Nuge. So it's just, and that's, I guess, perhaps a butterfly effect of like Henrique being out because Henrique, Savoy were the top pair. But Savoy, I think, has still been really effective on the PK for some of those plays where he can take away some time and space, but maybe not get too overcommitted. I think McDavid, that was the first one that he was on the ice for too, though, a PK goal against.
For me, it's just I feel like there was good, and once again, the Ducks go 2 for 4. This is the 4th game in a row they've scored a power play goal all season long. They have killed the Oilers' PK. There was good stretches, solid clears from the Oilers at points in this game, but it kind of piggybacks off Doobie's point there that, margins for error be slim in the NHL playoffs and against this Ducks power play that, if you are chasing, if you are a step behind, they're going to make you pay. But one area that I'd say, hey, if you can't stop their power play right now, stay out of the box. And there were some penalties tonight from the Oilers that I was not a big fan of. Josh Szymanski, tough one for him. He's kind of been fighting it here and there. But later in the game, he draws a penalty. So he kind of makes up for it in that stretch. You saw Zach Hyman go in a hit on Beckett Seneca, knee on knee, that I thought actually could have been much worse, but it didn't end up being. And then you saw Jake Wallman took 2 separate interference calls, and the one on Leo Carlsson, the puck wasn't even anywhere near him. And yes, he didn't hit him in the head or anything like that, but he completely laid him out in open ice, and you're just like, man, have you not read the scouting report yet that this Ducks power play, they're lethal, and the Oilers PK doesn't have an answer for it? But Dubes, I don't know if I'm just being too simple here, but I didn't like some of the minors the Oilers were taking.
Yeah, and hey, listen, when your PK is working, those get forgotten about, but it does matter. And right now, it's not working. It's costing you leads. It's costing you games. Those are the ones that can't happen. You're going to take penalties in games, so you can't say, stay out of the box. It's just stay out of the box for dumb stuff. Like you just talked about the Wallman penalty, like that. Those are the kind of ones. It has nothing to do with the play. Like you can't go sit in the box when your penalty kill is struggling on unnecessary stuff. If you got to take a guy out to save a goal, or if somebody steps on your stick or you accidentally, that stuff's going to happen. So you can't say that's shouldn't have taken that penalty. It's hockey. But when you're taking penalties that are completely unnecessary and are in your control, and they're ending up in the back of your net, it just hurts. It's a difference maker in every single game right now.
Yeah, I think Ducks 10 for 24.
I think, now it is
10 for 24 against the Oilers this season, regular season.
Those are Oilers
playoffs.
Power play numbers.
Yeah, and this is, the Oilers are getting a bit of their own medicine in the ways that they've won playoff series where their power play has been so productive and is able to dig them out of holes. Well, this is what's been happening to them this series. And, the Ducks, as it was pointed out, they have 2 very strong power play units, and they play them both, and they have balance in each, and that's the way they go about it, as opposed to most of the modern day NHL, which has a top unit that shades with much more minutes, 90 seconds to the full 2 versus even splits. So they found ways, and it just maybe that's where the Oilers' speed of the pass in order to close those gaps a little quicker has kind of been felt as well.
Yeah, I guess, Doobie, I'm curious your opinion because it's something we've talked about a bit throughout these playoffs. This was the fourth game of the series here between the Oilers and Ducks. We often talk about, physicality, sandpaper, and we kind of mentioned that compared to other playoff series that the Oilers-Ducks one is maybe lacked some of that hatred, some of that bad blood that's going on. They've been hella entertaining contests every single game and under yet to hit because today the over-under was at 7.0, so we got a push. But I guess I'm curious in this, and even as I ask this, chat, answer this question as well. What did you think about the Oilers, playoff mentality tonight, the willingness to throw the body, get in scrums? Because I do feel it kind of continues for me 4 games in, and it doesn't feel as playoffs as the other series do going on in the first round.
Yeah, it doesn't, and yeah, I think there's lots of reasons for that. The I guess hatred doesn't really seem to be there, which is fine. I mean, you don't need that stuff. It usually happens organically in a playoff series when you're playing somebody over and over and over again. You start to want to kill the guy across from you. But I think it more like it's just kind of the sloppiness, like not like both ways. That's why it doesn't really, like, again, you mentioned that the games are extremely entertaining back and forth, but they're extremely sloppy, which is weird, and over like a longer course in a playoff series that kind of stuff continues. I mean, there's some stuff that goes on multiple times in these games that you'd be watching a playoff game and that would happen once and you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that in the playoffs. And then it's like, and it's both ways. It's just the way the games have gone. That's why there doesn't have that kind of like playoff feel to it as much. I think tonight was a little better in that regard. I thought the Oilers, I mentioned earlier, urgency in front of their net, I thought was pretty good, needing to clear out rebounds for most of the game. And that was better, but still just some stuff just doesn't quite feel like it's there. And hopefully Edmonton can find that urgency for next game.
Do you think they have it in the tank?
I do. Yeah. Because they I don't know, like they've shown the flashes. I mean, they put themselves in such good positions every game. I mean, they're leading every game. And so it's, finding a way
in all four games, right? They're starting with the lead. They're getting off to leads, right?
So finding a way to keep going, obviously there's a whole lot more into that than just, go score another goal. But when it's 4 games that you've been leading, that's not a good trend. Now I don't know. I think who knows how hurt McDavid is. He's obviously hurt. So he's a guy that has missed and he is a difference maker in the game. And more than anything, it's like you want him on the ice. And if he's not able to be on the ice with his short shifts right now because if it's his ankle or whatever it is that's bothering him, that sucks. But I do. I mean, we just seen it in the past with this group when they are clicking and they get some momentum going. Nothing seems to be able to stop them. So it's just whether or not they're going to be able to put that together. But it's do or die now. So hopefully that can kind of kick them into gear a little bit.
Hope will never die, Michael Menzies.
Well, no, we gotta. It's the conversation.
I got a show to do on Tuesday.
Well, of course, of course, and we're gonna be there for the show Tuesday, and but it's I think very fair because this team they've played a lot of hockey. You know what I mean? And the body keeps score like it does, and I thought at times tonight that the Oilers, they could win the battle, but the war is going to be very difficult. You know what I mean? Like that there's a path where because they are putting themselves in good positions to win these hockey games, but it does feel somewhat daunting. Okay, you win a round, and then what's to come? Like you got to draw from a deep well to be able to summon what's required. And the Oilers have kind of fought that. So, like, I'm not saying they're dead in the series. I'm not saying they're dead for the playoffs. But you can tell here that this is a group that has logged a lot of miles, and I think tonight especially.
I believe going into, now that they dropped the puck tonight, the Oilers since 2021-22 have played the most hockey in the NHL of any franchise around. And you kind of say there, like, there's good stretches of hockey for the Edmonton Oilers where they can win some battles, maybe not the war. And it's specifically, Doobie, let me ask you this. And once again, you're a goaltender. You've been around. Have you ever been a part of a team where all season long, the Oilers in the second period, they just fall apart? In this game tonight, they allowed 2 goals against. They were both, I believe, power play goals, or they allowed whatever. They allowed 2. They were outshot. Yes, they were both power play goals off of, bad penalties and bad mistakes. And it hasn't just been these playoffs and these 4 games. I believe game 3, the Oilers actually zigged when you thought they'd zag with a good second. But I don't know, all year long, it feels like they, for the most part, have come out pretty good and then fall asleep at the wheel in the second period. I mean, this is too dumb of a question to ask, but do you know why? Have you ever been part of a team that something like that happened? Is it just Joel Quenneville adjusting on the other side in that first intermission? Because it's been an issue all year for the Orange and Blue.
Yeah, it's been a major issue in this series. I can't say it's happened all year. There's definitely been stretches where it's just like, wow, like what are we doing in the second period or the third or the first, whatever, like where you can have these trends over a period of time where it's like we're falling apart and there's no rhyme or reason for it other than like, let's figure this out. But it's one of those things that can also be in your head. It's like the second periods have been so bad, they could score a goal that was just whatever. It was a great play by them, nothing you can do about it. But then all of a sudden it's like, man, second period again. Like it's in there, and you just have to find a way to piece together a second period that you're not blowing a lead in, and then build from there, which they haven't been able to do this series yet. So there's no real rhyme or reason for that happening, but it can start to like build in your head a little bit, where then every kind of mistake or bad bounce or whatever in a second period is like, oh, the second period again. So they just got to battle to get through it and have a good second period. There's really nothing else to it. Just go have a good second period and then chip away and forget about these second periods,
which they did last game.
Sorry, Doobie, didn't mean to interrupt there, but that's kind of where I was kind of leading to, is what's being said in the locker room at that intermission when you guys are kind of clocking, well, fuck, we're going into the second period again.
Don't fuck it up.
Well, yeah, but then you go out and do it again, So what's kind of what's being said? What's the mentality? What's the vibe in the locker room when you're sitting in there in the intermission going, oh fuck, here we go. Here's the 40.
Yeah, I mean, it would more at this point probably just be saying like, hey, all right, let's go have a good second. We haven't been good in the second. Like, let's be aware of that and be ready to go and go do our thing, because the game doesn't change in the second period. Like the change does, but unless you're getting beat by bad changes for breakaways, then the change doesn't really matter. Where the bench is, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, at this point, there's probably a conversation between periods saying, hey, and nobody, these guys are all winners. Like this is not a mentality of like, fuck, here we go again. Oh, pardon me. I guess you guys swear on the show, so it's okay. Sorry, so I'm used to the kids around. But it's, they're going to have a different mentality of like, guys, enough of this. Like, we need to go out and have a good second. We have not had good second periods. It's cost us hockey games. We need to go and do this. Not as much like, oh my God, here comes the second period again. We're going to blow it. That's not really the way you think about things. So I'm sure it's going to come up again next game. They're going to go into the second period, and in between, they're going to have a chat about having a good second period and see if they can go out and do it.
That's what's just kind of been. I've obviously never played in the show, and I sit here in my comfy leather chair, but I'm like, and whether it's the second or it's just, like major lulls, 20-minute stretches where the Oilers just fall asleep at the wheel. And it's something that for a team that's supposed to be as experienced and, battle hardened and proven, it's astounding to me that this continues to happen for the team. Do you have anything else on the game? Because I got one question to close out with, Dubny.
Well, I wonder if it's a question I'll ask. But I was just going to say about leads. In Game 1, they had a 2-goal lead. That was erased. In Game 2, the Oilers had a 1-goal lead, and it was erased. Game 3, obviously, they had 2 separate leads that were erased, and then a 2-goal lead and a 1-goal lead in tonight's game. So, leads they've not been safe.
That bummed me the hell out, the way what you were reading and how you read.
Well,
that.
But that's the whole thing that even heading into this game should give you, the Oilers are getting out to leads. They are getting leads. They are scoring first. They scored first in all 4 games. So there's obviously some part of their game. I just thought tonight there were fewer of those, real 5-on-5 chances. They were doing better things in terms of puck management, but the weight and the number of the chances weren't there in the same way. The power play helped them out with that. But McDavid was much more of a non-factor 5-on-5 until the final minute of regulation, where Draisaitl makes a great toe skate blade save.
He had 2 great stops.
Right? Yeah. So there was back-to-back there that could have been differences too, and then you don't have to go to overtime.
My question to you, Doobie, because as I know now, oh boy, it is late over in the Central Time Zone right now. We saw what went down tonight. The Oilers, they are staring down the barrel of the gun. And the Oilers went with Tristan Jarry in the crease for Game 4. Doobie, are you running it back? Is Tristan Jarry getting the start in Game 5 for you?
Yeah, I think you have to, the way he played, right? If you're gonna put him in there, and he's gonna give you that effort, I think you've got to go back to him. Again, I think if this was Game 2, we'd probably be feeling great about things. Like if you just took that game and you ended up with an overtime loss and it was Game 2 or even Game 3, we'd feel a lot better about it just because it was less sloppy and it was a better game than most of it. And Jarry played really well, but unfortunately it's not. And now their back's against the wall. But I don't see them going back to Ingram. And it's hard because, again, Connor didn't play bad. We talked about it over and over. Just a lot of goals against. And I really liked what Jarry brought today. So they put themselves in a tricky spot. He gave him a really good effort, gave him a chance to win today. I would imagine they'll go back to Jarry next game. But who knows?
Was huge for Jarry's confidence, the fan base's confidence, maybe even Knobloch's safety. Who knows? Once again, Brett, make a poll in the chat. I'm curious to ask the folks. What about you? I would go with Jarry myself just because, and it's like, the win and you're in type sitch. I get that Jarry didn't win this game, but he gave the Oilers more than enough of a chance. But this is a tough decision for Chris Knobloch to have to make because I don't think Ingram, did anything so bad to be yanked from the net, but you gotta ride momentum, hot hands, and I don't know. What are you thinking, Menz?
Just really quick, as I'm making this poll, should I add Calvin Pickard /other?
I might just do it for fun.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he might comb a percentage. He might get a chunk.
I trust him with my life.
If it were my team in a vacuum. And I need to win or I'm out.
Should you deliver this as Chris Knobloch then?
We're going Ingram. Connor's been there for us. We got 2 good goaltenders. I would personally start Ingram for my team. The issue is the Oilers have 1 goalie under contract in the next 2 years. It's Tristan Jarry. And I believe they'll start Jarry. I would personally one game for my life of the two, start Ingram.
And I don't think that they shouldn't feel really the need to like, well, we should do this. Like, I think if this is a situation where there's really nobody's going to like be surprised or scratching their head if whoever starts in this one. Like, this is just straight up coaches decision. I don't think anybody's going to throw up their hands if they go back to Connor Ingram. I don't think anybody's going to throw up their hands if they go with Jarry again. I think it's just one of those situations is purely going to be a coaching decision in the field.
You talked about if you were the head coach and what decision you would make. I actually re-give my answer. If it was me, I'd spin the wheel for my goaltenders because Doobie, final thing to mention before we let you go, you got to see your first wheel victory, and not only was it an anytime goal, it was a plus 2,800 first goal scorer of the game, 38 seconds into the game. Casberry Captain and the boys responsibly are rich now. Doobie, the wheel is just, brother.
I thought we were winning tonight for sure. I was like, this is going to be the best game ever. 38 seconds, not just anytime goal, but first goal. I mean, I thought this was it. I thought this was the night. Yeah, it's too bad. You're talking about spinning the wheel for a starting goaltender. I wouldn't be surprised if it's been done before. I've seen enough, just really awful and weird goalie decisions made without much thought or I guess not rational thought by coaches, that I wouldn't be surprised to find out that at some point there was a wheel that was spun to decide who was going to start.
I'd be the coach at the press conference with my laptop next to me. Just be like, well, you can't get mad at me, man. Look at this. And
the
maybe
wheel said.
NHL teams have their own customized wheel just like we do.
That might have been how Pat Quinn gave you your NHL debut. He didn't know before. He just spun the wheel and said, fuck, here you go, dude.
Quitter might have spun the wheel as I was walking out for pregame skate and forgot that I hadn't played in 26 games. And he was like, oh, yeah, Duber, you're in.
There you go. All right, Devan Dubnyk, former Oilers goaltender, absolute beautician as well. Doobie, we love you. We appreciate you. Get some sleep, and then we will talk again Tuesday night. Do or die for the Edmonton Oilers. Thank you for everything, Dubes.
Night, boys.
There he is. Doob. It's funny because, I mean, post-Skinner, we always talk about The Office, that we don't know what to yell for Ingram or Jarry, and we've kind of just resulted in Ingram, Jarry,
just a quick,
Jarry,
piercing.
Had a lot of
phrase,
those tonight.
yeah.
Delivered a lot of those. Okay, got to pay the bills here for a quick sec. Want to give a shout out to Derek Dodge, Edmonton. That is This is the beginning of a new chapter for Derek Dodge as they are under new ownership, bringing a fresh approach, new energy, and a renewed focus on customer experience. And right now, they have an unbeatable deal. With every vehicle purchase, you will receive a trip for two to Las Vegas. Yep, you heard that right, and you're seeing it right on your screen. Leave the lot with a new vehicle and flights and accommodations for a trip for two to Las Vegas. That's tough to beat. Visit them at Derek Dodge, 6211 104th Street, Northwest, or at derekdodge.com. I ignored some super chats before we brought in Devan Dubnyk. I will get back to those super chats. Now, Cadbury Mini Egg, $5. After a loss like that, the only logical conclusion is to pray to the ghost of Connor Brown and Jorble to cap again. Anybody understand what that meant there on Jorble?
No.
Who knows?
I can't say so.
We could, the PK could definitely use some brown mark featuring Rico. What are you giggling
I
at?
just read Bo's comment.
I'm on the super chats.
Yeah, no. In all caps, we've been edged all damn year. I just want to climb.
Amen, brother. Amen. Then we got Zooch, who's our Vegas Golden Knights fan, who has become a fan of us. So everyone be nice, be respectful. $4.99. Panthers fired Joe Q, rightfully. But even when Panthers are out, they find a way to get you. They can't keep getting away with this. He writes in the chat, Zooch, Did we just become best friends throughout the last couple of weeks? Because you seem awesome, and I'd love to hang out with you. Come on down to Edmonton anytime. We'd put him right here. You take Pangs' spot.
Just prop him up like Hezbollah.
I meant we'd get him a chair.
Yeah.
Just prop him up right there.
The BBL is not a chair. It's not for sitting, okay? It's not for sitting.
Maxentius, who's spending a lot on Super Chat, $6.99. Bouchard, 10.5. Nurse, 9.25. Wallman, 7 mil. How to ruin a McDavid Dynasty 101. Management has failed this team. I don't even want to do that right now. We got so much time to do that in the offseason. We're down 3-1 right now.
There'll be many O&Es. There'll be many cakes.
I was just about to say, this is After Dark. We're going to talk about the game, overarching, bigger picture things. Yeah, oh man, we're going to have to get, if things don't go well,
topics. No.
We're going to have to get back into our player grades and all kinds of extra. Oh, yeah. Oh, it hasn't happened in a minute, too. It's been pretty much just ended, and then you're right at the draft, free agency. And no, we're not even going to that mindset right now. Hope will never die. Come on now. Adams in, $4.99. Nurse, skate deflection, own goal, through Jarry, 5-hole. Might be the most Oilers thing of all time.
Very apropos, the old nurse deflection. Yeah, it seems to, Nurse in this series, it's been okay. I don't think he's been great. Don't get me. Don't say that I said it.
No, but I haven't had many of those moments where during the regular season I want to put my head through the wall.
Yeah, most of those
that's improvement.
The WTF moments, what is going on?
Bouchard's picked up that slack. Don't worry.
Yeah, he picked it up early, and Bouch was better tonight.
He was.
I thought he.
I meant that about the series.
Yeah,
not tonight.
big time. I thought he simplified better, and there were some noticeable plays, especially in the third period, where he would normally hang on to it, wait, whatever. There were a couple times where just keeping it along the wall sent players with speed up through the neutral zones. So
I'm reading some of Wit Dog's Twitter right now. He's
there a
going
spiral?
He's spiraling.
Foot? Yeah, I saw a couple of them for sure.
It's not good. Maxentius again. Trade McJesus so he can win a cup with a real team. I'll say it. Fuck you. I don't want to hear that. I love you. I appreciate you giving money to the Ben Stelter Foundation. Keep it respectful, and I hope that's me being respectful as well. I mean that in all good fun, but no, I don't want that. No.
Zach has this tweet. Referee Jake Brink. You see this, Brad? Yeah, maybe you can pull this up. There's a stunning sequence of events here between the official of the Edmonton Oilers organization, referee Jake Brink, who didn't signify whether the game-deciding overtime goal between Edmonton and Anaheim was good or not at the net, was drafted by the Oilers in the 5th round of the 2001 draft. He never played a game in the organization.
All right, instant reaction. And I love Zach Lang. I love Oilers Nation, and I love Copium. That's the biggest thing of copium I've ever seen before.
Zach
that has
busy.
Nothing to do with anything, but that's how good of a reporter and news director Zach Lang is that he's going to find that. He's going to fight the good fight for Oilers fans. Once again, truth serum, that goal... I'll cover my mouth so no one can prove what I'm saying. I think that puck definitely crossed the goal line and is a goal. Puck don't lie type situation. But you got to fight the good fight, and that's exactly what Zach is doing right now.
Yeah.
Respect the hustle. I hope even our haters in the chat can respect good work like that, trying to find a spin zone.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have looked up his elite prospects, but hey, you're gathering information.
Let's not blame the referees for failed professional careers. Had to get that in.
Well, it's actually funny that
blame him, the human being, not the hockey player.
It's funny this happens because I was going to mention this on pre-gaming because we've been watching a lot of. Well, we watched lacrosse last show, but or before the last game. But in the NLL, something happened last night where a goal counted where it shouldn't have counted. There's this whole whatever rule book thing, but the NLL came out with a statement saying that A, the goal shouldn't have counted, and B, the officials of that game are not allowed to officiate for the rest of the year.
Whoa.
Now, they obviously made the wrong call, so there's a bit of a difference here where you just kind of, you can put it up into interpretation. You can say whatever you want to say about what happened tonight. But it's pretty interesting, the kind of difference. I'm interested to see what the reaction will be from the NHL, from just everybody in general from this goal.
And what I'm about to say is not a new take. There's not anything crazy. This is when you want referees to have to give post-game media scrums, right? There's always this discussion about that if players and coaches have to answer the bell, speak to the media after the game, that maybe referees and linesmen should have to be subject to the same kind of scrutiny and whatnot. I also think that would open up a whole heck of a lot of bad blood, hatred, whatever you want, but it's an interesting discussion because I'd be very curious what they would have to say after this hockey game. And in fact, I believe we have Chris Knobloch speaking post-game, him kind of running through what he was told from the referees and what he got on the explanation for that overtime goal. So let's listen to it together. Here's head coach Chris Knobloch.
Do you think the officials had a view where they could tell that that was a goal in real time? Because that was the call on the ice. Is that the way that was communicated to you?
Yeah, I didn't get any communication. I thought it was, I can't see it going in. I can't see the line. You can't see any space between the blue line, and you see a lot of, similarly, you talk about the blue line, offsides. There's been many times where I've seen, oh, this is offside, and, they don't have the absolute proof of it. I thought that was going to be the call tonight also.
Chris, off of that, how much do you think, though, the goal call, it being a goal call on the ice, and then figuring out the conclusiveness or inconclusiveness was a factor in that?
Yeah, I guess the goal call on the ice was probably about 60 to 90 seconds after, maybe even more. They huddled and they got to the center ice, and then they made the call that it was a good goal. So, I don't know. It wasn't very definitive.
Conclusive, definitive, whatever you want to say. I don't 100% see that whatsoever. And to continue on with Copium, Zach Lang was at it again. He's in his bag right now on X.com. He's a great follow. The Everything app. He says, ESPN rules analyst at ESPN Ref NHL on this goal that was waved off. Quote, the entire puck has to cross the goal line, and you need definitive proof. So even though it was ruled a goal on the ice, you need definitive proof to prove the puck was actually across the goal line, end quote. I'm arguably even more confused reading that now because I could not definitively, conclusively see the puck 100%, but we know that it was called a goal on the ice, so that's why. Keep it locked on Oilersnation.com because I'm sure Zach is going to have everything for you and an explanation tomorrow morning on Oilersnation.com.
But is that saying, like, okay, yes, it was called a goal on the ice, but since you...
I don't know. That's why I'm confused by that word.
Yeah, so is it saying that, is it upon the definitive, or upon the replay, the fact that you can't definitively prove that it's not a goal or cross the goal line, that you can come back? Is that what he's saying? Is that what you guys are getting from this? I guess I'll put it back up, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. And once again, this is something that I think is going to be discussed, like the offsides review years ago with Colorado.
Look, I would have much preferred if Cutter Gauthier just walked
sniped,
in,
just
ripped
sniped.
it. You know what I mean? It's
when
like,
I'm
okay,
beat, I'm beat.
Exactly. The gray area, living in the gray area is it is frustrating. And God, just the whole sequence of it. Again, I know, but it's like Frederick has the puck. They gotta just chip that puck out of the zone.
Yeah, let's get away from it.
Out.
Let's get away from it for a minute because I'm sure we'll get back to it, and I'm sure the voicemails are going to be full of it. Got a couple more sounds in the room for you as well. and they definitely discuss it. But until then, let's do the GBO, the good, the bad, and the oily, brought to you by Oodle Noodle. Download their app today, especially during this playoff run. You don't want to be cooking. You got a weekday game on Tuesday. Well, you got to be at your buddy's house. You got to be here or there. Why don't you just order, get some food delivered, some nudes delivered, if you will. Come on now. Take advantage of the $2 deal on top of any regular or premium box. For just $2, you can add either or 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 deep fried wontons. Let's kick it off with the good. I got 2 options for this. Once again, we were so rushed going into this, we didn't even pre-pick GBO. I got 2 goods. So the first one, I'll say the first period for the Edmonton Oilers, because they were excellent. Great start to the game. They scored 38 seconds into it. That is now all 4 games this series. The Oilers have scored the first goal and have had a 1-0 lead. But it was on that first goal. We saw Dickinson take it, not even cycle it, but just one man himself carry the puck around the net, low to high, pound a puck on net, hits Kapanen, and he's able to bury the rebound. But we saw a concerted effort. We saw a good kill from the Oilers in this period as well. They had a 2-0 lead. The good first period. What a time. Feels like a very long time ago. It was several hours ago, but Menzies the good. First opening 20.
Yeah, well, exactly. And just, first shift, Dickinson intercepts a puck, protects it. Kapanen is able to score. And then really, limiting in the first 10 minutes especially, more of a commitment to a dump and chase forecheck game, but protecting pucks, not having to throw it away in those hope plays that have cost them here in this series, and making the workload easy for Jarry to at least dip his toes into the water. As the first period went along, Anaheim started to get going and started to impose their will. But the Oilers come out of that first period ahead 2-0, despite being outshot 13-9. But again, they needed some positives to get off on the right foot. They found that in this game 4.
I will also say for good, Tristan Jarry was good in this hockey game. Yes, he's a loser. He's sub 900 save percentage. I don't care. He was awesome, man. And he had stretches in this game where he was on fire. I believe it was the second period, but it was like a 2-3 minute sequence. He robbed Carlson with his glove. No, maybe it was either way. There was just in bunches, you could see it, and there was points on the penalty kill. You need your goalie to be the best PKer, even though his PK save percentage numbers are not that good as a whole this season. It needs to be mentioned that this could have been a make or break game regarding Tristan Jarry's tenure with the Oilers, maybe even more so his career in the NHL, because if he went out with a stinker, I know everyone thought it, Brett said it after we finished pre-gaming, if he lets in the first shot of the game, oh my God, I don't know what this Oilers fan base is going to do. He didn't do that. In fact, he stopped everything that he saw come his way in the first period. And 34-38, he was tested plenty, .895, and once again, say what you want about that. That final goal against Jarry was also good. Was there a result to the poll? Oh, yeah. About
55% Tristan Jarry. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's about what I would have
27%
guessed.
Pickard, 18% Ingram.
Ingram was third.
Yeah.
What?
And 24 hours ago, I was carved to death.
Do you want to take a small victory lap again?
Yeah, well,
Can I do it for you? Can I read some of the comments? Because some people were going at my co-host for even presenting the idea of, and you went, Jarry? Pickard?
Well, yeah, it was essentially
just the most lighthearted way you can present that idea.
Well, it was just because game 3, again, the Oilers didn't play with any structure. So it leads back to those conversations back in January and back in November when they were giving up a bundle of goals. They weren't supporting the goaltending. Goaltending was trying and ultimately couldn't support the players up front. So, again, they entered this game having allowed 16 goals in their last 3, which they hadn't done since early November, back when they got waxed by Colorado. You know what I mean? So, I didn't have any. I would have been nervous as hell. I was nervous as hell for Jarry to come in and start this game. I had very little confidence that he would have been able to honestly play as well as he did. So, I presume Jarry's getting the call. That's what I would guess. My preference would be Ingram. I would go back. But I'm expecting Jarry.
I think Nobby, by already making his choice going into this must-win, can't-lose game, that the fact that Jarry did enough in this one, you got to roll with him. And you keep mentioning he is the only Oilers goaltender under contract next season. He gets paid the most. You want to see him figure a way to find it out, and this was a good step in the right direction. Also, 2-0-2 post-seance. He is yet to lose in regulation since we pulled out the holy water for his stick. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Yep, that's true. It's all
Unfortunately,
true. Unfortunately,
you don't get 1 point in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, could have used a point.
With good comes bad. For bad, we can talk about the OT goal all we want. We can talk blue in the face. So instead of us talking about it, how about you listen to Tristan Jarry, the man in the crease? He spoke to the media post-game about what he saw on the OT goal and the disappointing result as a whole. Here he is.
What is your opinion on the overtime winner?
It's hard. We were just looking at it in there, and you really can't tell. I'm sure you could go either way with it. You could say it's a goal, it's no goal. There's going to be opinions about it, and obviously on the losing side of it, we didn't think it went in, but it's tough.
Really strong game too, especially for a guy that hasn't played in a while. And it ends that way. It doesn't seem fair, frankly. It's kind of a bad break on the end of a good night. Is that fair?
Yeah, you never want to be on that side of it. It's tough to lose that way. It's tough to kind of have the indecision of that, but I guess that's the way it goes, and you obviously wish it could have went the other way.
Jarry gave us the patented sit, and he gave us the patented it's tough, but I'm not going to poke fun at that. I'm not making fun of that, because tonight, so the first word that comes to my head is that was tough for Tristan Jarry.
It was.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was.
We'd be singing his praises right now. The statue
tough.
would be starting to be engraved.
I mean, some of those saves after it was 3-3, the
Unbelievable.
the one-timer, the Kreider look. Both goaltenders, I think, locked in when it once became 3-3, and 5-on-5. It took, good plays to beat either Jarry or Dostal. So Jarry got a lot more work in this one than Dostal. The total shots this one was 38-27, and shish boom ba, 3-1.
Give me the Kendrick pow.
Beam, boom, boom, bop, bow.
Thank you very much. Brett knew what I was thinking when I said
Jarry
that.
had a little sweat. The glove,
The windmill that might have been missing the net, but that's
Yeah.
what you want to see. Building some confidence in your goaltender for the fan base and for him himself. The other bad, Connor McDavid doesn't quite look as healthy as I would like him to look in this hockey game. A game that went to overtime, albeit a short amount in overtime. He played under 20 minutes, 19:32 time on ice. He still did register 2 assists. He still looked good out there, but there's concern. We noticed it very early on. We were like, 97 isn't on the ice as much as I am normally accustomed to, especially in a must-win, can't-lose type game. It's not good. We can speculate all we want. I do believe we have a very short clip from Connor McDavid post-game talking about his health, so I'm sure he doesn't say much, but let's find out together. Here he is.
What's the state of your health? How healthy are you right now?
I feel we're all doing the best we can out there. We're all working and we're all trying to get it done.
Yeah, okay, he's definitely not 100%. I know Connor McDavid, and when he's given those type answers, he obviously got tangled up. I think it was with Matthias Ekholm earlier on in this series. It was one of those weird plays where if you've watched NFL football or any football for that degree, you've seen guys kind of get their legs caught in there, get caught up, get rolled up on, and he was able to get his leg out. But for a guy who still skates like the wind and is a step ahead of everybody else out there on the ice, we saw him slicing and dicing, eventually going in one-on-one on Dostal. So if he's not at 100%, what he can still do is way better than anybody else. But sucks, Menzies. That's the first guy on the list of people you don't want to have a nagging injury.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it's in the deployment, because he's under 20 and he was the third line out in overtime. So they were starting the Draisaitl line each period and continued with that. But to be the third line chosen, I mean, gives you some indication. McDavid had some of his wheels. We saw flashes there toward the end of regulation. Those were his best real looks, 5-on-5. A couple shots that he fired toward Dostal. But the answer's in the deployment, that obviously Knobloch was trying to move minutes around a little bit. And there you go. I mean, he collects 2 points in this game. The power play for the Oilers, does a fair bit to keep them in this game, including Evan Bouchard's big goal. That was the go-ahead at the time. And, the power play kept it at evens, at least for the hockey game. This was a big play right off the draw. And, boom, Bouchard, who I thought was better in tonight's game than what we've seen throughout the rest of the series. And so, they made some plays that and got a couple more bounces than they have in other games, but ultimately not enough.
No, it was not. The bad could also be they've been pretty respectful, Brett, the trolls in the chat right now. So as long as we keep it good, keep it clean out there, I got no problems. I got no problems with the enemy in the chat.
Gave one guy a mental warning. I didn't say it in the chat, but he's almost crossing the line.
You get mental warnings.
But then he didn't say. I haven't seen him yet.
So he received the mental warning.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, with good comes bad. With bad comes oily. Tonight I'm going with the wheel. It has to be the wheel. So if you're not aware, on pre-gaming, we'll spin it. Every Oiler skater out on the ice. First wheel spins. The first goal scorer of the game. The second is an anytime. And the wheel is just. The wheel was paying out tonight. Kasperi Kapanen scores the first goal, and we bet at any time on top of it. Plus 2,800 for the first goal. Plus 425 for an anytime goal. That's why you play the game. That's why you spin the wheel. I saw some people in the chat during the watch-along were like, who came up with the idea for the wheel? This, and Brett will vouch for, is something I have wanted to do for years on the show. I just didn't know the way to incorporate it. And I also never thought that it would be this successful, that this season, now with a plus 2,800, a through-and-through first goal scorer pick, we are in the green. We are in the positive. We are in the money. And I'm happy that Devan Dubnyk got to see it today as well, because now, responsibly, hooked for life, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the wheel struggles have been, we've mentioned the struggles.
We document them.
During, everything's logged. Everything's put into a spreadsheet. What's the wheel up to? And the wheel was up to tricks. And Connor Murphy, there were a couple moments Murphy had some looks where it could have been the first ever double wheel victory. Oh, wouldn't that have been fun?
Plus 2,800 and plus 1,300 was Murphy's anytime.
Yeah.
That feeds families. That's generational wealth. Fortunately, it didn't happen. Do so if you want to ride with us, or just emotionally ride with us. Saw some people in the chat doing that, but do it responsibly. Do it 19 plus at Bet365. That'll do it for the GBO. And before we move along into the Genes, I want to listen to our final sound in the room. It comes from the Viking, Matthias Ekholm, talking about the Oilers' struggles so far this series to stop the Anaheim Ducks offense and, the classic experience in the room stuff from the Viking. Let's take a listen to Matthias Ekholm. Thank you, producer Brett.
It's difficult, or is it difficult to keep this Anaheim team below 3 in a night? Is it hard to keep them from scoring because they're a good offensive team?
I mean, I guess that's something that we have evidence in 4 games now that it has been hard for us. Thought we played better defensively tonight. Obviously, we got to stay out of the box and be better on the kill, but 5-on-5, I thought we took a step in the right direction. tough ending, obviously, but hey, 7 games, first of 4. We got experience in here in these situations, and we got to go back home, win a home game, and go from there.
Nothing new for the Viking, and nothing he didn't see. When did the Vikings live? How many centuries ago?
About 1,000.
Nothing he hasn't seen 1,000 years ago, and will continue to see today. But your sounds in the room are brought to you by your Prairie Toyota dealers. Looking to dominate off the ice as much as your team does on it? Well, check out the Toyota Tacoma. Its standard I-Force engine boasts an impressive towing capacity of up to 6,400 pounds. In fact, it's the most powerful Tacoma ever. So whether you're hauling gear to the rink or heading to an away game, you can tackle it with ease. The available panoramic multi-terrain view monitor gives you a live underfloor view to navigate even the toughest terrain with ease. When it's time to load up, the available power liftgate makes loading your gear in and out a cinch. Experience power, capability, and convenience with the Toyota Tacoma. Double ad read coming your way because it's time for the Jeans, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhauk name. They are amazing. They are the greatest jerky you will ever eat. Find them online or head out to their location out in Leduc or WilhaukBeefJerky.com. I did that in the wrong order. Messed that up. Went off script. It's kind of night we're having tonight. Jeans, what do you think, Chad? Who was the LVP tonight? Who was fighting it? Who was struggling? I got a couple candidates in mind, one specific who then later in the game, for his mistake, kind of made up for it. So it's kind of tough, but I'll let you go first, men's. Who was wearing the denim tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Josh Szymanski.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, it was just that, and he does draw a penalty later. I gave Frederick the Jeans last game, and there was the critical mistake tonight. I think Szymanski just some hard lessons learned in this series with a young player, and that's a big part of it. But in terms of like the vets,
I got another one.
Yeah.
Jake Wallman.
Yeah.
Jake Wallman was not good in this hockey game. He had a lot of errors, specifically a lot of errors in the third period, I found as well, when you kind of needed the Edmonton Oilers to tighten things up. And they did get out of that third, and things ended up losing in OT. It was just, it was noticeable because Wallman has been so good for the first couple games in this series, and that was noticeable because he wasn't so good during the regular season. We're getting a little bit of everything here on the roller coaster from Jake Wallman in this hockey game. Just looking at his numbers, 17-29. He had an apple. He had the turnovers, but he had 2 penalties, man. And we talked about it with Doobie. That Carlson interference one, puck nowhere near. It was a decision he had clearly made to, I want to inflict some punishment on their number one player, which I get that. Also, you call me dirty, whatever you want. If you're going to do that, you better get him out of the game. If you're going to take 2 minutes, that wasn't the case. Carlson stayed in. I thought Jake Wallman, he was wearing the jeans tonight.
You'll never guess who led the Oilers in hits tonight.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Ty Anderson?
Well, yes.
I was like, didn't we talk about this earlier?
Yes.
I was going to try and pretend to play dumb.
Well, what? No. What? I thought Emerson really supported Wallman well on that pair, and it was, noticeable where he was getting the regular shifts in the third where he hasn't in other games this series. So, I thought Emerson stepped up in that front. Just
the refs can also get the jeans for however that had to go down in overtime, not being in a position to see it, nobody making the goal call in the moment, the huddling up, everything that followed. Jeans are deserved for that because I get everybody has a take. This is a game where it's made for the refs having to go up on the podium and go, all right, what happened? When Bouchard turns over a puck and they lose, he has to answer for it. I think the Zebras should have to be held to the same standard. Also, though,
could you imagine?
It could be bad for their personal lives if they had to do that. I do get why they're not.
You think people are going to look up their elite prospects and where they were drafted, that'll be the least of their worries.
You know who's not wearing jeans? Anyone on this beach right now.
Oh, don't do that. We're one loss away from this.
Yeah, there's a photo from mid-May, gentlemen. Well, Menzies might be wearing jeans there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wearing dress pants. I'm wearing a jacket
He
and
just
tie.
got off the plane.
You're awfully not sweaty in this photo for a guy wearing a full suit on the beach.
I'm sure I would be sweating.
I don't know. There's a little.
Is every
glisten on
button
the
done up
forehead.
as well on that?
Not the top, not the tippy top.
I went through and I was doing this, I don't know, yesterday because I was showing somebody this photo, and I went and found all the photos that Liam used to send this in because I was like, I know I've seen me like that. I know I've seen Menzies like that. Yeah. Brett, even Liam with the beer on his lap and everything. Shout out, no free shout outs.
That beer is standing interestingly.
I'll say it. Liam's got a hog on him, man.
Gravity is.
So it's going to stay. I hope Liam had a good birthday weekend as well.
I hope so.
30 years young. He also told me he's got some bachelor parties in late May, so that their schedule. Maybe the bachelor party will be on the beach. Who knows?
That is a bachelor party.
Yeah,
it's both of our bachelor parties.
I'm also going on Liam's and I'm going on your bachelor party. It's going to be a good year this year, but it's still a cup year.
I'm going on neither.
You want to come to Toronto?
Well,
just rub it in a little bit more, boys. Also, a couple more super chats. Turd Ferg dropped another 20.
Oh,
yes, he did. And all he said was good luck. Yep.
The Oilers will need it. Yes.
Fair enough. Then the Pit, $10. Great show. Says, what I don't get is there was no ref or linesman in position to call that a goal on the play. You can see the one ref blow the play dead. Then they huddle, and then they call it a goal. Pitt, no lies detected. That is exactly what happened. But it is what it is. I could keep saying the same shit over and over. I would say it's the puck don't lie situation. It was probably in, but either way, McDavid dropped in 2 pounds and just said game over with a GIF.
Thanks, dude. Not quite.
It's Tuesday. We're going to be pre-gaming hard as ever, going hard in the paint Tuesday. 2 people join us. I'm going to empty the clip. I'm not going down without a fight. I'm going down swinging. There's no point in watching a third called strike. No, we're not out. No, we're not going to be out. Now we're going to be out.
Test
do
ABS,
this one. Home
ABS.
run.
Yeah.
Home run.
ABS, we're going to review. Oh, that was outside.
All right, let's now go around. We'll get to the voicemails in just a second. Curious how the chat's going to feel. But let's go around the NHL quickly. Brought to you by Lease Busters. Because if you're stuck in a car lease and you want out, Lease Busters connects you with someone to take it over. No penalties, no buyout headaches, none of that stuff. Instead of paying thousands to break your vehicle lease early, you can transfer it. Lease Busters makes that process simple. So, elsewhere, give me the sounds, Brett. Give it to me, brother. 3 other games going down in the NHL. Bright and early this morning, the Buffalo Sabres, shit all over the Boston Bruins, 6-1 in the TD Garden, in Boston's home arena. I follow a bunch of Boston area, weird sports accounts and whatnot because of my Patriots fandom.
Yeah.
Oh, they were pissed today about the Sabres. They were booing them off the ice after the opening 20 minutes. I believe it was a 4-0 deficit. Series is now 3-1. Are the Boston Bruins dead?
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree.
I think so. I do think so. It might take 6, but I think they're done.
DOA. Speaking of dead, the LA Kings. Pour one out. Anze Kopitar as well. No, he still has a pulse, but his NHL career is just over. The Avs beat the Kings 5-1 in Game 4. That's a clean sweep. Doesn't matter if they're playing the Oil or the Avalanche. The Kings, time is a flat circle, out in the first round. But I'll chirp him all I want. Anze Kopitar, one hell of an NHL career. First ballot Hall of Famer immediately. And I said this before on the stretch run of the season when we were talking about playing LA, that I have such a long hate list for the LA Kings after the last 4 years. And it's weird. Anze Kopitar is nowhere to be found on that hate list. He's just a good player, and the game will miss him.
Yeah, no, I was seeing a Brett. Do you think he's on the Mount Rushmore of Slovenian hockey players?
Yeah, I probably would.
He might be.
Could I name one other? No, I could not.
Of course, he's
just
really
4
the only.
Kopitars?
Yeah, it's just duplicate, triplicate, and quadruplicate. Kopitar. I mean, a fantastic career, no doubt. Some absurd totals, a Hall of Famer, as you mentioned. And the Kings, I mean, they tried to play their game as best they could against Colorado, and often succeeded in terms of kind of what they wanted to do, but they were just overmatched. That was just the way it was.
I'd like to point out Alex Mendoza in the chat right now just said, Ducks fan here. Definitely a rough way to lose. Refs were terrible, but 100% a goal. I probably agree with that as well. It, I think, was crossed the line. It's just a process. What do you think, Alex? It's the process. Do you get why Oilers fans are pissed about this? Like, we have eyes, dude. We can see that was probably past the goal. But my issue is that the referee, who needs conclusive, definitive evidence, could not tell me that it was 100% past the goal. Thank you for joining us as well. Also, that means he's subscribed to the ON YouTube channel. If he's in the chat, come on back. Game 5 as well. As long as we keep everything respectful, I love having the opposition's fans in the chat. Shout out Alex Mendoza.
Yeah, Alex Mendoza. Good stuff.
Clue96 said common sense says it's across the line as well. I do think common sense has to be taken into account.
Also, you guys don't know anything about Žiga Jelich, the Slovenian?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
I forgot.
Show some respect to Žiga Jelich.
Yeah.
And then finally,
Jan Mursak as well, played in the NHL.
I feel like I've maybe heard that name, or I'm just
You're
imagining.
thinking of Jan Mysak.
Yep, there it is. There you go. Final one. Lightning beat the Canadiens 3-2. Series is tied up 2-2. I've said this about the Stars Wild. Sometimes you just look at a matchup and you go, oh, that's going 7. Stars Wild is going 7. Lightning Habs is going 7. And I think it's just that simple, Menzies. Those series, maybe the Ducks and Wild hasn't been, or Ducks and Wild, Stars and Wild hasn't been as good. But Lightning and Canadiens is unbelievable. And we found out Martin St. Louis is a Seinfeld fan.
Yeah.
Respect. Now I'm pulling for the Habs.
He said that the other day. Yeah, he's a big fall asleep to Seinfeld guy. So I think
Me too, brother.
I think you're in on that. And I think that's a heck of a series. It's been fun to watch that one. And I picked the Lightning to start. I don't have a great feel for how that one's gonna go.
I should have just not bet either series. I should have just bet 7 games. It felt like a safe play.
One thing about Seinfeld guys and one thing about Simpsons guys, they'll always let you know that they watched the Seinfeld and the Simpsons.
And when you're both of
Kind
them...
of like wrestling guys.
kind of like feet guys as well over here.
Yeah.
Come at us? This guy
Double
fucking
jump.
comes at us?
We're doing what at us?
Pardon?
Pause. All right, should we do it? Let's get into some
Let's do it.
voicemails. They're brought to you by... It's almost over now, boys. GMC Truck Month. Shout out to Truck Month because it's your opportunity to get into a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro Graphite Crew Cab and 0% financing for 72 months. You're getting a 2-inch factory lift with off-road suspension, a powerful 5.3-liter V8 engine, and a commanding presence that demands attention. Hurry in to go see the Sierra 1500 Pro Graphite Crew Cab in person and take advantage of Truck Month.
Truck Month.
Before it ends. Producer Brett, how many voicemails did we get this evening from the... Can only imagine frustrated fans?
You got 7 this evening.
Oh, I was mentally prepared for more.
Also, Truck Month ends May 2nd. Want everyone to know. May 2nd, Truck Month.
2nd.
That's going to be the last time I do an ad read. So get there before it's too late.
Oh boy. Alrighty, let's start off with a This is we've had this conversation already, but Riley, first time caller, Riley Baker. He put his full name in this. First time phone caller. Let's see this conversation.
Who do you think the Oilers are going to go with Game 4? Think they're going to go back to Ingram, or do you think they're going to take Jarry?
Gabriel. I believe he meant Game 5 for
Game
that
5.
question as well. That's just a misspeak. All good. We kind of said it earlier. I asked Doobie. I think it's Tristan Jarry because I think Nobby already made his decision when he chose to put him in for Game 4, and you might have to stick with it. And it's not like Jarry gave you any reason to not believe. If Nobby believed in him before this one, he didn't lose any of that good faith throughout this game. So for me, I'm saying Tristan Jarry. And had you asked me this earlier this morning, I would have said there's no fucking chance I'm putting Jarry ever in the crease. But life comes at you fast. Here we are. What about you? You said Ingram?
Yeah, well, for my team, I would start Ingram, but I get the sense that they will pick Jarry because I think, if you switch to Jarry in Game 4 like they did, Jarry wins. Then you have the caveat if there's another loss, you can switch again. Seems like because Jarry played pretty well that they'll stick with Jarry. I would lean slightly to Ingram.
Who's up next, Bert?
This next voicemail is coming in from Bo. Let's listen to Bo.
Here's a Greta.
Excuse the noise if there is any in the background. I'm just driving home. Managed to make it out to Greta tonight. Great time. Unfortunate game, but it is what it is. All these games have been close. I think you can look into that as a positive thing. It's just any game. If we have any of our stars just pop off, game on. We've been here before. You're not an Oilers fan if you haven't been in this position previously. So, let's get back to it. One more game to play to start. Let's go from there. Miss you guys, love you guys. Oil up, cup here. All that shit. Let's go, boys.
Cup here. Bo, I love you. I miss you. It's sad we haven't been down to Greta yet because that's when we got to hang. Bo, did you get any rally Kit Kats?
Oh, my God.
Did you get any rally cats?
Need rally cats.
I know, Bo. I know he got rally cats for the boys and the girls down at Greta.
And Bo knows Kit Kats.
Bo knows.
Bo knows cat.
Bo knows. Meow. I get what you're doing there. All right. Who's up next?
Next voicemail is coming in from Shooter McGavin.
Oh,
Evening, everyone. Bordsy, Benzies, it's Shooter McGavin here. Hope you guys are all doing well. That was our game to win. And it sucks the boys couldn't complete the win. As much as I didn't want Jarry to go in net, I don't think it was his fault. However, it's I guess for most people it's hard to stay positive, right? I know I get bitched at by everyone a lot for being the more negative one. But let's see how Game 5 goes. And, this Ducks team is pretty good, right? I think they should bench Frederick. He's completely useless. And it just sucks that the puck went off from their stare. But, our penalty kill is really killing us right now, ironically. Anyhow, hope you guys are all doing well. And let's keep the vibes positive for the next game. Have a good night, everyone.
I also hope you're having a good night as well, Shooter McGavin. Yeah. Good voicemails like that. How could I hate a guy like that?
Yeah.
That was lovely, yeah.
That was a good view.
I mean, I got, no notes on what you said there. It's, and you are one of the more negative Oilers fans, and yep, feels like everybody's sharing that mood right now. The Oilers got to figure out the power play for the Anaheim Ducks, and, they're losing the special teams battle.
But fucking when are they going to do that? Maybe that was something that should have been addressed sooner. How about that? Good Lord. They beat you. They scored. Granlund scored a hat-trick on you in the first game you played against Anaheim.
And I don't want to make excuses because you got your lack of personnel of no Rico. You had no Dickinson. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough right now. The Ducks have their number, and it even, some moments on the PK, there's a solid 60 to 90 seconds of kill. And then it's just missing it by an inch or whatever. As Doobie kind of mentioned, it's margins for error so slim, and then McDavid goes a little aggressive on one play to the sideboards, quick give and go. More Tim Duncan fundamentals from the Anaheim Ducks, and the man advantage is an issue. And you think of years previous in the playoffs, we talked about it was the first cup run for the Oilers. Brett, you'll remember this, but we'd call them momentum-gaining penalty kills. Like, it was the Brown Mark featuring Rico era where somehow, some way, they were either scoring shorthanded or getting opportunities shorthanded and somehow getting momentum. But right now it feels like the moment you saw the Szymanski penalty be taken, it was like, oh, fuck, this is ending up in the back of the net. And that's exactly what did happen. Who's next, Bert?
All right, let's get a little optimistic. This next one's coming in from Rusty.
Thank God.
Series ain't over yet. Oilers in 7. Let's fucking go.
Cut
There
yeah.
you go. Succinct.
If I was Rusty's a man of few words. Any questions? All right. Who's up next?
Coming up next is none other than Mr. Burns.
On one hand, I'm pissed. The Oilers have been playing terribly. Not what you want to see. Would love to know what's going on with so many of our players right now. But on the other side of things, we have been playing terribly. And yet the Ducks have had to push every game. Like, they do not let up. And they don't let up because they can't let up, because we are scoring and we are creating these chances, even when we're like god awful. So I don't know if the Oilers can find this supposed switch, whatever that means. And I mean, they did find it last year versus the Kings, but if they can find it again, then the Ducks are toast. So hopefully they find what they need. Cup year.
Cup year. Mr. Burns, I love you so much. I miss you. I wish I saw you down at Greta. Got to get some beers together once again. But I am so fucking sick and tired of hearing the switch. And I'm sick of myself and how much I have said it from time to time. If you haven't flicked the switch by now, I don't know if you're going to do it. Hope will never die. Not going to catch me ever doubting the squad. I will always believe. I will always huff on my copium. But now we're 86 games into the season, and if they haven't, we've seen it for glimpses and stretches here and there, but not nearly enough from this Edmonton Oilers squad. And that's kind of stuff you need to see if you're going to be a Stanley Cup contender. Still entirely possible for this Oilers team, but Menzies, if the switch ain't flipped by now, fuck.
It's not about, there's no switch. It's about playing the right way, and it's about doing that consistently. And that's what championship teams do. You know, they don't wait. It's like, okay, but that doesn't happen.
Last year,
does not
in the
happen.
LA series, and once again, it was great. It created 6-7 weeks of amazing memories and fun. Brett, I hate that you just did that. I hate both of you so much. I only was looking at you, so I didn't see you. Bad on both of you for that. All right, let me get one.
It's 20 to 1 in the morning.
I don't remember what I was about to say.
There was a homicide in the kitchen.
What, 2 years ago? Was that what you were saying?
that last year, that like it's become a detriment, and it's become like the immediate place that we as a fan base bank on, and me included. I am a part of this as well. That because they were down 0-2 to LA, looked like dog shit, and then just did it last year and then turned it on, that forever we're always going to have this belief in us that's like, well, they did it before. We know it's in them. We know they are capable, which they are. It's just maybe we've been believing a lot this year because we saw it last season, but it is a different team and it is a different year. Who else we got, Brett? Is Payton in here yet?
Well, we got two left. Next one is coming in from Ben Berland. First-time caller, I'm pretty sure.
Been watching the Oilers here for the last few games, and I am just absolutely convinced something's wrong with McDavid. He just does not have a jump, and mentally he just looks defeated. Man, it's tough to watch. Thanks.
Cup year.
Thanks for the call.
You're not wrong, brother. I think everybody in oil country can kind of see it. Simply read the box score and the fact that he is sub 20 minutes in a game that went to the extra frame, to an overtime period. It's not good right now, and he'll be in these post-game media scrums and give you the political answer or the whatever. I'm fine. We'll figure it out. Everybody's dealing with stuff. I'd be curious, whenever this season does wrap up, we'll hear about the severity of the McDavid thing, because that ankle's been going through it recently. I don't remember which foot it was that Brett Kulak also ripped that puck on like game 81 of the regular season. I don't know if it was the same leg, but either way, Connor's been getting beat up.
Yeah, it's, more so on the mental side of things, the psychological side of things. Like, it weighs on him, that gold medal loss. Like, he has come back and he is, I think at times to his detriment, he's like, I need to do more. And so therefore will force more things. And I have to do more. And I have to do more. And I have to do more. But he's gone through a lot of hockey to get right to the precipice and not have it go his way. And I think you can see that in his, just his body language at some of these post games when things don't go well and you have these tough losses. Like, it's a lot for anyone to go through. There's a reason why teams that lose back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals don't make it for a third straight year. It hasn't happened since the 50s. So
until now, I don't know. I'm late. Even I'm beaten down. Give me some Payton positivity to wrap this thing up, and then we can head on home. Oilers Nation every day live tomorrow at 12:01 Mountain Standard Time. Give me sweet, sweet young Payton's voice.
It's just fucking terrible, man. You know what I mean? Like, fucking hell. The lads, like, you get a 2-goal lead, you fucking blow it. You get the lead again, you blow it, and then you fucking, I don't know. Fucking Tristan Jarry played absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you know what? All the fucking haters saying Jarry, this and that. You know, fuck the accent. If anyone's actually blaming Jarry for this loss, you're fucking stupid. He played actually so good. Like, he played so fucking good. He kept us in that fucking game. All of their goals were literally, like, beautiful goals. He made the big saves. Jarry was fucking phenomenal. Fuck, this sucks, fellas. Down 3-1. Fuck. It really might be over in the first round. Fuck,
Yeah, I like that even he couldn't commit to the fake English accent. It's a recurring bit on our side of the camera, so just ignore Payton and the things he does. But even he couldn't keep it together. He then dropped like 4 F-bombs in a bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
So you know that it's not good. It's not good right now. But Payton, he's been on the forefront of the Jarry fan club. He is the number one fan. And Payton, there's been many times this season when I don't agree with you on your Tristan Jarry takes, but tonight is not one of them. I agree. He was good. He gave the Oilers a chance to win, and it's a fucking shame that game had to end that way.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked. I thought, as unsurprised as it was that overtime ended quickly, I did get the sense that we were going to have a bit of an overtime period, that there was going to be a little bit of that tension about.
I thought we were going,
here we go,
double OT, triple OT. This show would have been starting right now.
Wah, 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 hand quick. Who's going to get ready? Quick draw. So I did think we were going to get a bit of that, but the Oilers have to win one hockey game. They have to come back to home ice and win one, and that is when they can sow the seeds of doubt. It's the whole psychological side of, the teams that get up, even if it's a 3-0 lead, they'll win the one, come back home, win that one, put the seed of doubt in. Can they shift the
snowball
who's
effect,
playing freer, all that sort of stuff, right? And they have to try and do that for Game 5. They can't win all 3. They have to win one game.
Just finished the poll here in the chat for who starts Game 5. Tristan Jarry, 54%. Calvin Pickard, 26%. Connor Ingram, 20%.
Well, let's go. Let's ride. Tuesday night, Game 5 between the Oilers and Anaheim Ducks. It's almost 1 a.m. here, local time. I just yawned. I'm ready for a sad drive home. But then we got ONE, Oilers Nation Every Day, live tomorrow, 12:01 Mountain Standard Time. I think we should have NHL insider David Pagnotta on the show. But if not, you know it's going to be a good one regardless. Breaking down everything that happened in this game. Maybe we'll have some more clarity on everything that went down, the process of the overtime goal call. I'm going to be just as angry tomorrow. I feel like it. Final thing I got to mention, merchandise, nationgear.ca. It's time to oil up, and your team needs it more than ever. Head to nationgear.ca where you can get your hands on some of this mighty fine merchandise. T-shirts, hoodies, we got dad hats, we got snapbacks. We got everything at nationgear.ca, including pre-gaming with Boardsy merchandise, which I highly recommend people get their hands on. Menzies, any final positive affirmations to the people?
The Oilers did things. They did the aspects that will allow them to win this series better in this game than they did in any other game. And they have to continue. They have to continue doing the simple things better. If they continue to do the simple things better, they will have a shot. And if they can ever get a special teams advantage in goals, they just have to win one at a time. But keep doing the simple things better.
Which is entirely possible and will only happen if your hope will never die. Cup year.
Cup year.
All right, I love you all. Throw it on your courtesy like on your way out. Make sure you are subscribed to the ON YouTube. I love you all. Appreciate the love in the chat. We'll talk on Tuesday. I'll be ready to go. I'll have my fucking war paint on Tuesday. I'll be ready to go. I hope you are too. We will talk then. Peace out.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.